The quantum fold drive hummed with an otherworldly resonance as Commander Sarah Chen stood at the helm of the QSS Nightshade. Her dark eyes reflected the swirling holographic displays that filled the bridge, each one tracking the thousands of calculations required for humanity's first quantum fold jump. The experimental vessel represented Earth's greatest technological achievement, and their last hope of preventing the Nexer Empire's impending invasion. Quantum matrix stable at 98%, reported Lieutenant Marcus Wong from his station, his fingers dancing across the neural interface panels. All systems are primed for fold initiation. Sarah absorbed the information without taking her eyes off the main display. The Nightshade hung in the darkness of deep space, far from any monitoring stations that might detect their revolutionary technology. After 5 years of development in absolute secrecy, they were about to attempt something the Nexer Empire had deemed impossible. Begin final countdown, Sarah ordered, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility pressing down on her shoulders. Tactical status of local space. Clear for 3 light years in all directions, Lieutenant Kira Patel responded from the tactical station. No Nexer patrols detected on any band. Her hands moved efficiently across her console, monitoring both conventional and quantum scanning arrays. The bridge crew worked with practiced precision, each member selected not just for their skills, but for their ability to think creatively under pressure. They would need both qualities where they were going. The Nexer Empire controlled over 300 star systems, their technological superiority unchallenged for millennia. Until now. Quantum fold drive spooling to critical mass, Marcus announced. 90 seconds to initiation. Sarah felt the subtle vibration through the deck plates intensify. The Nightshade's revolutionary drive didn't just bend space. It folded it through quantum dimensions the Nexer had never even theorized could be used for propulsion. The ship itself was a masterpiece of human ingenuity, its hull composed of metamaterials that could actively manipulate quantum fields. All hands, secure for fold jump, Sarah broadcast ship-wide. This is what we've trained for. Remember, once we emerge in Nexer space, we'll be operating under complete communications blackout. We're on our own. The countdown continued as final adjustments were made. The Nightshade's AI core, ARIA, continuously updated the quantum calculations, compensating for the countless variables that could tear the ship apart during the fold jump. 30 seconds, Marcus called out. Quantum matrix at optimal alignment. Sarah allowed herself a moment to consider the audacity of their mission. The Nexer believed their quantum detection grid was impenetrable, that their technological advantage was insurmountable. They never considered that humans would approach quantum mechanics from a completely different paradigm, developing technologies that operated outside their understanding. 10 seconds to fold initiation. The bridge lights dimmed as power was diverted to the drive system. On the main display, complex mathematical equations flowed like water, describing the impossible operation they were about to attempt. 5, 4, 3. Sarah gripped the command rail tightly, her knuckles white beneath her skin. 2, 1. Initiating quantum fold. Reality twisted. The familiar stars on the view screen stretched and distorted as space itself bent around the Nightshade. There was a sensation of movement without motion, of distance traversed without crossing space. Every crew member had trained extensively in simulators, but nothing could fully prepare them for the actual experience of quantum fold travel. The jump lasted both an instant and an eternity. When reality reasserted itself, the view screen showed an entirely different starfield. Directly ahead loomed the massive form of a Nexer orbital defense station, its quantum sensors sweeping space for any sign of intrusion. Position confirmed, Kira reported quickly. We're exactly where we planned, just outside the quantum detection envelope of Nexer Prime. Quantum stealth systems are engaged and holding. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The first test of their technology had been successful. They had penetrated the heart of Nexer space without detection. But this was just the beginning. Now came the real challenge. implementing their plan to prevent the invasion of Earth by turning the Nexar Empire's greatest strength, its absolute faith in its own superiority, into its ultimate weakness. "Begin Phase 2, Sarah ordered. "Let's show the Nexar Empire what humanity is truly capable of." The Nightshade slipped silently through space, invisible to the most advanced detection systems ever created. The revolution had begun, and the Nexar would never see it coming. The massive Nexar warships hung in formation around their central command station, their crystalline hulls refracting starlight in mesmerizing patterns. Through this deadly maze of ships and detection grids, the QSS Nightshade moved like a phantom, its quantum stealth systems rendering it invisible to even the most sophisticated Nexar sensors. Commander Sarah Chen watched the tactical display as Lieutenant Patil guided them through the fleet. Each Nexar vessel they passed represented enough firepower to level a continent, but their mighty weapons were useless against an enemy they couldn't detect. "ARIA, begin passive data collection." Sarah ordered the ship's eye. "I want to know everything about their fleet movements and communications patterns." Initiating deep scan protocols, ARIA responded, her voice carrying the distinct harmonics of quantum processing. Detecting significant military activity across all monitored channels. The Nexar are mobilizing on a scale that exceeds our initial estimates. The holographic displays filled with streams of intercepted data. Dr. Maya Rivera, their quantum systems specialist, leaned forward at her station, her eyes widening as she processed the information. "Commander, you need to see this. They're not just planning an invasion. They're preparing for full galactic domination." Sarah moved to Maya's station, studying the decoded transmissions. The Nexar battle plans showed thousands of ships being positioned across multiple sectors, far more than Earth's intelligence had predicted. "They're not just coming for Earth," she realized. "They're planning to subjugate every emerging civilization in the galaxy." "Their arrogance is staggering," Lieutenant Wong commented from his station. "These deployment patterns assume zero effective resistance. They genuinely believe no other species could possibly challenge their technological superiority." An alert flashed on Kira's tactical display. "Commander, large vessel approaching our position. Flagged as a Nexar High Command carrier. Hold position," Sarah ordered. "Let them pass right through our shadow. Maya, prepare to tap into their secure channels. Let's see what their leaders are saying when they think no one's listening." The massive carrier glided past their position, its quantum sensors sweeping through the space occupied by the Nightshade without registering their presence. Maya's fingers flew across her interface, exploiting microscopic quantum fluctuations to intercept the carrier's communications. "I'm in," she announced after a tense minute, routing command-level communications to main display. The bridge crew watched as the faces of Nexar military leaders appeared on screen. The aliens' crystalline features reflected their evolution on a silicon-based world, their movements precise and geometric like living sculptures. They spoke with absolute certainty about their impending victory. "The lesser species will never see beyond their primitive understanding of quantum mechanics," one Nexar commander declared. "Their crude attempts at defense will crumble before our superior technology." Sarah felt a grim satisfaction. The Nexar's greatest weakness was now clear. They were so convinced of their superiority that they had stopped looking for alternative approaches to quantum science. They had no concept that humans had developed quantum technology along a completely different theoretical framework. "New data coming in," ARIA announced. "I detected security protocols protecting a sealed quantum network. The encryption is unlike anything in our databases. That's their command and control network," Maya explained, studying the readings. "If we could access it, Commander, I have an idea. It's risky, but if it works, we could turn their entire command structure against itself." "Explain," Sarah ordered, though she already suspected where Maya was going with this. "Their quantum network is based on entangled particles, but they're using them in the most obvious, brute force way possible. They never considered that quantum entanglement could be manipulated through parallel dimensions. If we modify our stealth system to resonate at the right frequency, we could insert our own data streams directly into their secure network. Sarah finished. Make their own systems tell them exactly what we want them to believe. She allowed herself a small smile. Begin the modifications. It's time to show the Nexer Empire that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our ability to think beyond assumed limitations. As the Nightshade continued its silent infiltration of Nexer space, the crew began implementing their daring plan. They would use the Empire's absolute faith in its technological superiority to orchestrate its own downfall. The quantum ghost was about to become a quantum virus, spreading doubt and chaos through the very networks the Nexer believed impregnable. The revolution would begin not with a bang, but with a whisper in the quantum dark. Quantum data streams flowed across Maya's display like digital rivers as she worked to infiltrate the Nexer command network. The QSS Nightshade maintained its position in the shadow of a massive Nexer communications array, using the Empire's own quantum interference patterns to enhance their stealth field. First data package ready for insertion, Maya announced, her eyes never leaving the complex patterns of quantum encryption before her. HFY has replicated their command protocols perfectly. They won't be able to distinguish our transmissions from their own internal communications. Commander Sarah Chen nodded, studying the tactical display where Lieutenant Patel had mapped out the Nexer's command structure. Begin with the Outer Defense Fleet commanders. Let's plant the seeds of doubt where they'll grow the fastest. The first transmission slipped into the Nexer network like a digital whisper. To the Nexer commanders who received it, the data appeared to be a routine security assessment from their own intelligence division. But buried within the ordinary reports were carefully crafted inconsistencies, hints of hidden fleet movements, suggestions of political maneuvering among the high command. Transmission accepted and propagating through their network, Araya reported. No signs of detection. The Nexer's quantum authentication protocols are accepting our data as genuine. Lieutenant Wong monitored the Empire's response from his station. Multiple command ships are adjusting their positions. They're responding to our Phantom Fleet movements exactly as predicted. Sarah watched the Nexer ships begin their subtle dance of repositioning. The Empire's military operated on absolute trust in their technology and chain of command. They never questioned information that came through their secure quantum networks because they believed those networks were impenetrable. Maya, initiate Phase 2, Sarah ordered. Let's give their planetary governors something to worry about. The quantum systems specialist began weaving a more complex deception. This time, the transmitted data contained evidence of supposed corruption among the Nexer's highest military leaders, suggestions that certain commanders were hoarding advanced technology for their own use, preparing to seize power once the invasion of Earth began. The beauty of it is, Maya commented as she worked, we don't have to create fake evidence. We're just revealing the truth they've been hiding from each other. The ambition and distrust were already there. We're just bringing it to the surface. The bridge crew watched as their careful manipulations began to take effect. Nexer ships that had maintained perfect formation for centuries started to drift apart, each commander now suspicious of their neighbor's intentions. Communication traffic between fleet elements increased dramatically as everyone demanded explanations for actions they only imagined were occurring. Commander, Kira called out suddenly, detecting a surge in quantum energy from the central command station. They're initiating some kind of emergency protocol. They're starting to realize something's wrong, Sarah said, but they're looking in all the wrong places. Maya, execute final phase. Let's give them something real to worry about. Maya's fingers flew across her interface as she prepared their masterstroke. The Nightshade had been gathering data on the Nexer's secret research projects, their hidden weapons development, and their true plans for the galaxy. Now they would release everything, not to the military commanders, but directly to the civilian population and subject worlds. Data package compiled, Maya reported. HFY has optimized it for maximum distribution through their civilian networks. Send it, Sarah ordered. Let's show the Empire's subjects what their masters have been planning for them. The transmission burst forth through the quantum network, bypassing military encryptions and flooding civilian channels across hundreds of worlds. The Nexer's carefully maintained image of benevolent superiority began to crumble as their own people learned the truth about their leader's ambitions. Multiple fleet elements breaking formation, Kira reported, excitement creeping into her voice. Civilian vessels are departing from major ports without authorization. The entire sector is destabilizing. Sarah watched the chaos spread across the tactical display. The Nexer Empire had maintained control through a combination of technological superiority and carefully managed information. By attacking both simultaneously, the Nightshade's crew had discovered their true weakness. The Empire had become so reliant on their quantum technology that they had forgotten how to handle situations their systems didn't predict. New transmission from the Central Command Station, Lieutenant Wong announced. They're ordering all fleet elements to converge on our last known position, which is exactly wrong. He allowed himself a small smile. They still haven't realized we can move freely through their sensor net. Let them chase shadows, Sarah said. The damage is done. Their own people will demand answers now, and for the first time in centuries, the Nexer leadership will have to deal with questions they can't suppress with technology. The Nightshade slipped silently away from the communication array, leaving behind an empire in turmoil. The revolution they had sparked would spread through quantum channels across the galaxy, proving that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't technology. It was the truth, deployed with precision and creativity that the Nexer's rigid thinking could never match. Alarms blared through the massive halls of the Nexer Central Command as reports flooded in from across their territory. The QS Nightshade's crew watched through quantum-intercepted feeds as the Empire's perfect order dissolved into chaos. Fleet commanders questioned their orders, civilian populations demanded answers, and subject worlds began openly defying their crystalline overlords. Multiple Nexer battle groups have broken formation, Lieutenant Pottle reported from Tactical, tracking the movements of the massive alien ships. 3 separate fleet commanders have declared their sectors autonomous. They're turning their weapons on each other. Commander Sarah Chen studied the tactical display with careful attention. The Nightshade's mission to prevent Earth's invasion had evolved into something far more profound. The potential collapse of an empire that had dominated the galaxy for centuries. Commander, Maya called out from her station, I'm detecting massive data purges across their quantum network. The Nexer leadership is trying to contain the information we released, but they can't stop it from spreading. Their own encryption protocols are working against them. The ship's AI projected a holographic representation of the quantum data flows, showing how the truth was propagating through the Empire's communication channels. The Nexer's hierarchical network structure has become their greatest vulnerability. Each attempt to suppress information only draws more attention to it. Sarah allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. The Nexer had built their empire on the assumption that their quantum technology made them invincible. They never considered that their rigid hierarchical thinking would make them vulnerable to an enemy who understood quantum mechanics in ways they had never imagined. New development, Lieutenant Wong announced from his station. The Nexer's subject worlds are rising up. Their garrison fleets are being overwhelmed by sheer numbers. These species may have less advanced technology, but they've been waiting centuries for this opportunity. The tactical display showed dozens of smaller conflicts erupting across Nexer space. Centuries of oppression had created a powder keg of resentment. The Nightshade's revelations had merely provided the spark. Incoming transmission, Maya reported suddenly. It's being broadcast on all frequencies, including their secure channels. The Nexer High Command is trying to regain control of the situation. The main screen filled with the image of the Nexer Supreme Commander, its crystalline features reflecting the chaos unfolding around it. This is a direct order to all fleet elements, the alien leader declared. Disregard all unauthorized communications. Unknown forces are attempting to destabilize our perfect order. Return to your assigned positions immediately. They still don't understand, Maya said softly. They think this is just about military command and control. They don't realize we've broken something far more fundamental, their people's faith in their superiority. A massive explosion lit up the tactical display as two Nexar battle groups opened fire on each other, their commanders each convinced the other was part of a conspiracy against them. The Empire's mighty warships, designed to project power across the galaxy, were now turning their weapons on their own forces. Multiple quantum fluctuations detected, Araya announced. The Nexar are attempting to reconfigure their entire network. They're trying to shut down all non-essential communication channels. Too late, Sarah said. Their civilian population has already seen the truth. Maya, implement our final protocol. Let's make sure they can't rebuild their wall of secrets. Maya's fingers flew across her interface as she initiated their last major operation. The Nightshade had spent hours gathering data on the Nexar's quantum network architecture. Now they would use that knowledge to ensure the Empire could never again suppress information from its people. Quantum virus deployed, Maya reported. It's rewriting their basic network protocols. From now on, any attempt to restrict information flow will automatically trigger widespread distribution of the censored data. The bridge crew watched as their final attack spread through the Nexar's systems. The Empire had built its power on controlled information and absolute obedience. The Nightshade's crew had introduced something the Nexar had never planned for: transparency. Multiple capital ships approaching our sector, Kira warned. They finally figured out how to adjust their sensors to detect our quantum signature. Doesn't matter now, Sarah replied calmly. The mission is accomplished. Plot a course for the quantum fold point. It's time to show humanity's leaders what we've achieved here. As the Nightshade prepared to depart Nexar space, they left behind an empire in transformation. The mighty Nexar, who had planned to conquer Earth through overwhelming technological superiority, were learning a harsh lesson about the limits of pure technological advantage. They had forgotten that true power comes not from having the most advanced weapons, but from understanding how to think beyond assumed limitations. The revolution they had sparked would continue long after they departed, fueled not by human weapons or technology, but by something far more powerful: the truth, wielded with precision by those who dared to think differently. The fabric of space rippled as the QSS Nightshade prepared for its quantum fold jump back to Earth. Behind them, the Nexar Empire's perfectly ordered society continued to unravel. But the mission wasn't over yet. The most dangerous part still lay ahead. Multiple Nexar warships on intercept course. Lieutenant Pottle reported from Tactical. They've adapted their sensors faster than we anticipated. The quantum stealth field isn't fooling them anymore. Commander Sarah Chen had expected this. The Nexar's technological prowess was real, even if their rigid thinking had made them vulnerable. Status of the quantum fold drive. Charging, Lieutenant Wong responded. 3 minutes to critical mass. The system needs time to recover from our infiltration jump. Sarah studied the tactical display as 5 Nexar capital ships moved to surround them. The crystalline vessels glowed with power as they charged their main weapons. The Nightshade's stealth systems had given them the element of surprise, but now they would have to face the Empire's military might directly. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, Maya announced from her station. The Supreme Commander himself. The alien leader's image appeared on their main screen, its crystalline features fractured with rage. Unknown vessel, you have committed acts of warfare against the Nexar Empire. Your primitive attempts at deception have failed. Surrender now or be destroyed. Sarah stood from her command chair, facing the alien leader directly. This is Commander Sarah Chen of the Earth ship Nightshade. We didn't come here to wage war. We came to prevent one, by showing your people the truth about their leader's plans. Truth. The Supreme Commander's voice crackled with contempt. You have spread chaos through our perfect order. Our technology is superior in every way. Your destruction will demonstrate this to all who dare to challenge us. Superior technology doesn't equal superior thinking. Sarah replied calmly. "You've just proven that. Maya, show them what else we've learned about quantum mechanics." Maya's fingers danced across her interface as she initiated their final protocol. The Nightshade's quantum field generators spun up to full power, but not for stealth or propulsion. This was something entirely new. "Quantum field reconfigured," Araya announced, generating parallel probability matrix. The space around the Nightshade began to shimmer as multiple quantum fields overlapped. To the Nexer's sensors, the human ship seemed to exist in several places simultaneously, each version equally real in quantum space. "Impossible," the Supreme Commander declared. "You cannot manipulate quantum probability fields at that scale. Our scientists have proven it cannot be done." "They proved it couldn't be done using your understanding of quantum mechanics," Sarah corrected. "Humans looked at the problem differently. We didn't try to control quantum uncertainty. We learned to work with it." The Nexer ships opened fire, their energy weapons lashing out at the Nightshade's multiple quantum signatures. But their targeting systems couldn't determine which version of the ship was real, because in quantum space, they all were. "Quantum fold drive at critical mass," Wam reported. "Execute jump," Sarah ordered. "Let's show them one last impossible thing." The Nightshade's revolutionary drive engaged, but instead of simply folding space, it used the overlapping quantum fields to create a cascade effect. As the human ship vanished into its fold jump, the quantum distortion rippled outward, temporarily disrupting the Nexer ship's own quantum technology. When they emerged from the jump near Earth, Sarah knew their mission had succeeded in ways they hadn't originally planned. The Nexer Empire would survive, but it would never be the same. Their perfect order had been shattered not by superior weapons, but by the introduction of ideas their rigid system couldn't control. "Incoming transmission from Earth Command," Maya reported. "They're asking for a status report." Sarah smiled slightly. "Tell them the invasion has been canceled. The Nexer Empire is too busy dealing with internal problems to threaten anyone else. And tell them we've brought back something more valuable than military victory. We've brought back proof that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our ability to think beyond the impossible." The Nightshade moved into Earth orbit as the first rays of sunlight crept across the planet's surface. A new day was dawning, not just for Earth but for countless civilizations across the galaxy. The mighty Nexer Empire had been transformed not by force of arms, but by the power of truth and the human capacity for innovation. As her crew began preparing their mission reports, Sarah reflected on what they had achieved. They had set out to prevent an invasion and had instead sparked a revolution, not through superior firepower, but through superior imagination. The Nexer had believed their quantum technology made them invincible, never realizing that true advancement comes not from having the most powerful tools, but from finding new ways to use them. The quantum dawn had arrived, and with it, a new era of possibility for all species who dared to think differently.